It had been a day full of surprises. Orbie discovered that every now and then there really is a worm in an apple. Katie found out that if you shake the tomato sauce too hard, it will splatter over almost everything. And they both learned that chocolate milk always leaves a brown mustache. From the beginning of the day, things had been fun. Dad put a shaving cream beard on Orbie and told him to give Mom a big kiss. Orbie chased her around the kitchen. Mom laughed so hard, she dropped an egg on the floor. Later, it was time to do some snow shoveling, and everybody went out to help. Dad was working at the end of the driveway. Mom signaled to Katie and Orbie to help her get Dad back for the shaving cream. They made big, puffy snowballs, and on the count of 3, they threw them at Dad. The game was on. He threw Mom into the snowbank, and then he gave Katie and Orbie a snow shower. The driveway didn't get finished. Everybody got so wet and cold they decided to go in for hot chocolate and do the rest of the shoveling later. When they were ready to have hot chocolate, Mom asked Dad to hand her a spoon. And Dad handed her a fork. Orbie giggled. Mom asked again. This time, Dad gave her a knife. Katie joined in the giggling. Mom told Dad that if he didn't give her a spoon, he wouldn't have hot chocolate. So he gave her a spoon. Then Mom opened up a bag of marshmallows. She picked out one and threw it at Dad to be funny. But when she did, the whole bag of marshmallows slumped over and poured into Orbie's hot chocolate. Everybody looked at Mom. She started to pick them up and laughed, and she said, sorry. She didn't mean to do it. After the hot chocolate, Katie and Orbie were in the bedroom, trying to think of something to do. Orbie sat on the bed and fiddled with a toy magic wand. Katie sat on the floor and patted Chance. They were thinking. At first, nothing came to mind, and then suddenly Katie had an idea. Let's be magic and give Mom and Dad 3 wishes. Orbie jumped off the bed. They could use the wand, he tooted. Katie agreed. They would get dressed up and use the wand to give the 3 wishes. They would even make the wishes come true. Orbie backflipped over to the bed and pulled off the sheet. He would be the genie. Katie chose to be a wizard. In the costume box, Katie found an old wizard's hat and an old wizard's robe with stars and moons on it. She pulled the robe on over her head. Mom poked her head in the door and asked what they were up to. Katie told her to wait and see. Mom said she'd look forward to it. Katie helped Orbie wrap the sheet around him. It was big and bulky and kept falling to the floor, but soon they got it to stay where they put it, and they tied a large red sash around his waist. It was a bit hard for Orbie to walk, but he did manage. In the bathroom, Katie drew great big genie eyes on Orbie. They were dark and sweeping, and Orbie stuck some wizard spots on Katie. She looked sparkly and magic, and Orbie looked mysterious. They both looked in the mirror and giggled. So far, wish granting was a lot of fun. Next, they decided that Chance would be their assistant. I don't think Chance was that interested. Katie put a little red cape on her. With wand and cat in hand, they headed down the stairs. Orbie was having trouble on the stairs, which meant letting go of Chance. She jumped ahead and hurried to the living room, cape flying. Katie helped Orbie by holding up the bottom of the sheet. In the living room, Chance scurried under Dad's feet. Dad was very surprised and almost dropped his coffee. Then he called to Mom to come and see Chance, who was now hiding under the couch. He knelt down to encourage Chance to come out and show off her costume. Well, Mom was pretty sure it was a trick, as they had been fooling around all day, so she took the turkey baster and filled it full of water, just in case. When she opened the kitchen door and snuck into the living room, she didn't notice 2 small people making their way down the stairs. In the living room, Mom didn't notice that Dad was crouched down on the floor, reaching for Chance. She just noticed that Dad wasn't right there. She got ready to squirt him if he jumped out from somewhere to make her laugh. Katie called from the bottom of the stairs. She wanted Mom to help her with Orbie's costume because the sheet was falling off. Mom turned to look. Dad heard them too and turned, but when he did, he put his feet right in front of Mom. As Mom moved to face Katie, she tripped over Dad. In her surprise, she accidentally squirted the baster while it was pointed right at Orbie. Orbie was very surprised to get water in his face, and he stepped back and fell onto Katie, and they both landed on the floor. There was a mess of people and cat in the hall and the living room. Now, I have to tell you, everyone was a little bit annoyed with Mom. She had upset everything. The makeup streamed down Orbie's face. She had melted up his genie eyes. Katie had bumped her knees when she fell, and Dad, who was holding Chance, had Mom sitting on his legs. Mom looked at each one. Katie, Orbie, Dad, and Chance all looked back. She felt bad. All she wanted to do was to have fun. She looked at the three people she loved so much and smiled her best mom smile. She told them that she hadn't been careful. She didn't mean to upset them. She made a mistake. Then she told them she was sorry. Dad looked at her and then at Katie and Orbie. He knew Mom hadn't meant to spoil their fun. Dad let Chance go and turned to Mom. "It's all right," he said. "Nobody's perfect." Orbie and Katie agreed. They could both remember times when they did things wrong by accident. They all moved in for a family hug, but they ended up in a people pile on the living room floor. A little later, when Katie and her soggy genie granted Mom a wish, she wished that everyone would love her even though she wasn't perfect. And do you know that to this very day, they still do? After all, everybody at one time or another does something they don't mean to. Nobody's perfect. And if you're not, that is perfectly fine.
Did you know? Did you know? Did you know?
There have been many famous artists over the years. Rembrandt, Pablo Picasso, and Andy Warhol. Each one had a very different style. Maybe you could be a famous artist too.